Hello everyone. I know I've been making a lot of skate videos and they're probably not that helpful, but as I've always said, this is my channel and I make videos of things that intrigue me and I go through cycles, and this is just one of those cycles. So hope you stick around for the ride until I tire of talking about figure skating, which is probably very soon, and we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming of food and piercings and mental health and all of those things. It just goes in phases. Alright, so stick around long enough and I'm sure I will revisit the topic that made you interested in my channel in the first place. I'm older and I skate with a lot of younger people half my age, people a quarter of my age, whatever, people that are just not the same age as me, and I should probably stop hanging out with them because it's inappropriate. But I don't know, I think I portray myself youthfully, I act pretty youthful, I look pretty youthful, and so people usually think that I'm their age, and then they start talking to me and I start talking to them, and then we become friends and it's all great. It's wonderful community. So, as an adult, I would like to say that I am very privileged to have the resources to buy whatever, like, skating gear, whatever skates that I want. I do not have parents that are like, I'm not gonna buy you that, that's too expensive. I'm not gonna buy you that, you don't need it. And like, my parents are definitely like that, so I know that if my parents found out how much I paid for my skates, I would be in so much trouble if I were under the age of 18. Ah, my camera, oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. So, I did get the skates that I have now, which are the Resport RF3 Pros. And funnily enough, a lot of the people that I hang out with have been skating about the same time as I have, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter. So obviously, I think once you are a higher level of skater, like, which means you've learned forward stroking and backward stroking and 3 turns and start jumping and spinning, you need a boot that is appropriate for your level as well as appropriate for your weight. And that's a discussion that I have with a lot of the younger folk that I hang out with, because my rink sells Jacksons. They push Jacksons, and Jackson is what you get when you buy skates from our pro shop. They do have some Rydell, but it's mostly Jackson. So my first real pair of figure skates came from the pro shop and they were Jacksons. I discovered that they were not for me 6 months later. But I do like them. I think they are a great boot. They are very comfortable, very reasonably priced, and it's just easy. You walk into the pro shop and you come out with a pair of Jacksons. So my second pair that I ended up going with are Resport. And a lot of people, friends, ask me why I went with Resport and why I didn't go with another pair of Jacksons or Rydell or Idea, which are like the 3 biggest brands, I guess, because that's all I hear, mostly Jackson or Idea. And I attribute that to the fact that the rink sells Jackson and all of the world champions wear Idea, and Adidas are just like the hot new skate that everybody needs or everybody wants, and so I'm not one to really bend into peer pressure. Like, I'm not going to follow a trend just because everyone and their mothers wears Idea, and I wasn't going to go back to Jacksons because I tried Jacksons once already, came out with a bunch of foot problems, and didn't want to continue having these foot problems. And also the skate had a couple of fit problems, which I wasn't really happy with, and I'm not going to spend more money to have the exact same issues that I had before. So that said, I had so many options of different brands to choose from, and it was very difficult coming to a conclusion of what I should buy and what I should wear. So the first thing that I did was I went online and I did a lot of research, and this is just easy research. I think that if you Google like best figure skates or figure skate types, it'll like a lot of stuff will come up. You can peruse around forums and message boards and you can get a lot of information. And I did that at first, and I took in consideration everything that I read, such as Jackson has a wider toe box for wider feet, but their heels are kind of wide too, so if you have a very skinny heel, it's not really that great for you. Rydell's are more for narrow, but that's going to change because the new Alara and Vega are made with a new last, so it's going to accommodate a wider foot, so that's really great. Resport was for narrow feet, but now they're a little bit wider in the toe for those who have like problems with their pinky toe getting squished. Adidas, the heel is really high and it's very loose around the ankle, and it's a very low cut boot, so that requires a lot of ankle strength. So those are pretty much what I remember off the top of my head. I did also research more companies such as Aura, Avanta, Harlick, Spiteri, you name it, I researched it and I was able to come up with my own conclusions of what would fit me best. Obviously, the custom boot route is the best if you have the money to shell out for it, and if you don't, you know, a stock or semi-custom is fine as well, as long as you don't have like a strange and unusual foot shape, there should be no issue. So what it came down to is me actually really wanting custom skates and then being talked out of it, so that's why I have these. But I will get my custom skates next pair, I promise. So with all of this information in mind, what I did is I actually went to my coach and I was just like, hey coach, look at my foot. And he had to tell me, looking at my foot, what boot he thought fit me the best. I wrote it down and I went to a really great skate shop that specializes in figure skating. If you're buying like a higher level boot, I do suggest you go to one of these specialized shops and you don't just buy something because. And they're in Connecticut. They are called Skaters Landing. And I went there, I got fit. It took about 2.5 hours and they suggested a couple of options for me as well. One of them being Jackson's, and I told them that my current Jackson's were giving me an issue and I did not want to be in Jackson's, not to mention the new Fusion sole. I don't like the way that they look, sorry. So I told them that I wanted to stay away from Jackson's and I wanted to try something new, and they recommended a couple more options for me, being Resport, Graph, and something else that I can't remember right now. So I had these 3 options to choose from, and thankfully they kind of, one of the options corresponded with what my coach told me to get, which was the Resport. So I figured if 2 professionals are telling me that Resport is my best bet for the type of foot that I have, then great. So they didn't have my size in stock, but they had someone else's skate that came in the mail that was like 2 sizes too big, and they let me put my foot in it. Not that that like helped or anything, because I was swimming in this boot and they were like, oh, we just want you to feel what the inside feels like, and I'm like, my foot's not touching the edges or like the toe or the heel, so I can't tell. But you know what, I believe you. And so I go back to my coach and I'm like, okay, I've settled it, I'm going to order this boot. And he was like, great, and gave me the blade that I should, there's a bug. He told me what blade I should buy, which is the Coronation Ace. I wanted gold seals or I wanted like matrix blades in pink, but he said no. So I have Coronation Aces instead. But I still like them a lot. Like, they're wonderful blades. And yeah, so I called Skaters Landing back after I told my coach, and I was like, hello, I would like to order these skates in this size and this blade, and I was expecting them to take like a couple of weeks, but at the end of the week, Mark, the man who manages Skaters Landing, the one that I went to at least, called me back and he was like, oh, your skates are here. And I went to pick them up and it has been wonderful, aside from the break-in period, which I have like a video about. But yeah, so that's really how I chose my skates. I really don't think that anybody should be buying into the hype like, you need to buy this brand because everybody's wearing that. You need to buy this brand because it's popular. You need to buy this brand because it's just the cool thing to do. I think that you should really take in consideration really carefully your foot shape, what more experienced people think that you should be wearing because they've been through it and they know, especially a reputable fit tech. Obviously everyone does have their biases. Like your coach might recommend this for you because they skate in and they think it's great. Or your friends might recommend this for you because they skate in that and they think it's great. But at the end of the day, it really, what matters is your foot shape and what boot works for you, regardless of brand name, regardless of popularity, because it's the most important thing that you have in this sport. And if you don't take care of your feet, you're not gonna be happy in the long run. And I can tell you that as someone who's older. I've never had any foot problems until I started ice skating. I used to dance and I've never had any foot problems, and now I have foot problems and it sucks because it hurts a lot and it's annoying. And if I could turn back time and not have gotten all of these problems, I definitely 100% would have. And not to mention, my feet are less cute because I have all these problems. And it just looks like I don't take care of them. But in reality, it's because I ice skate, but I don't want to stop ice skating because ice skating is so fun. So, well, that's pretty much the video on how I chose my current ice skate and how I believe you guys, just anyone in general who's looking for a new pair of ice skates that are a bit higher level, should go about choosing them and not to fall for the hype. Obviously, if those like hyped up brands that everybody wants you to wear work for you, wonderful, but they don't work for everybody else. And you really, it's just so important that you get a skate that fits you correctly and is comfortable for you, rather than getting something that you hate and doesn't work for you just because you want to be a part of a club. So this is the end of my video, and I hope all of you liked it. And until next time, I will see you guys later.